A very good evening to everyone. So we think we should start the webinar. We have already some of you who've joined in, and I think people can just move in as time progresses. So we have a quick agenda here. We give the perspective, we share the opportunities, and then we move on quickly to some of the Q&A. So quickly about ourselves here. So I'm Tarun on the right side of your screen. Neelesh is also with me.
Hi, good evening. This is Neelesh Budhiraja.
All right. So what's the context here? I think there's been a lot of concern and questions from the biology aspirants about what's in store for them. And that's one of the key things that is happening with us today is if you look at this quick statistics, we have just in the case of AIIMS, for 700 seats last year, nearly 284,000 candidates had appeared. And so that's basically a 0.25% success rate.
This is across all the AIIMS taken together.
And JIPMA is 0.11, so that's even worse. And if you consider NEET, which is basically the single entrance exam for the rest of the world, rest of the universities besides AIIMS and JIPMA, you have a rate of 7.9, which includes MBBS and BDS and government and private admission.
Both admissions.
Seats.
And obviously, there being a dearth of government seats here, the government seats probably will be less than 50% of these. So in government colleges, if you look at it, probably the success ratio would come out to something around, say, 4% at best, and rest of the 4% would be in all the private medical colleges.
Yeah, so basically what's happening is you have this entire segment or a large section of the biology students trying to attempt to get into the medical colleges end up facing stiff competition. And within that, the seats are there in the private institutes, which is causing another problem, which is of being unaffordable. So let's move on to what this unaffordability factor is this.
Just a moment.
All right. So when this statistics is quite, I would say, mind-boggling. Well, as I said, if you consider this was based on the consideration that you get into those, a private medical college, because getting into government is even tougher, and you'll end up paying a lot of money to the private institutions in terms of fee and capitation, etc. We calculate that somebody who wants to get into the medical profession probably would take nearly 18 years to make for the money he or she has spent, is provided this person is a first generation medical aspirant. That means doesn't have somebody in the family already running a medical practice, private practice. So, is doing it for the first time in the family and has to spend money on his or her own means. Yeah. So basically what's happening is, you roughly spend about 1 crore, including all expenses for the MBBS. And you realize that just being an MBBS doesn't get you anywhere. So you end up spending another 1.5 crore for a specialization. And you would then end up with some kind of a decent practice, which gives you some kind of a salary. And if you consider that 40% of that initial salary is used to, sort of recuperate or pay back for your loans, then you have probably going to take about 18 years to come to this. So this is another problem that we have, right? So we spoke about the competition, we spoke about the unaffordability, and another issue there is the level of awareness. So we see that many of the students are unaware of what can be done besides fact that you have less opportunities, right?
And beyond MBBS, in fact, the factor that the awareness level about opportunities is very, very low, it adds to the competition for MBBS and BDS propositions. That makes it all the more difficult, and hence important to look at equally good opportunities in related biology areas, which can give you equally good careers and move over from this red region to the green region. Yeah. That's one core reason why we are talking of course, we are not saying that MBBS is not good. It's definitely a premium career option, but then there are equally good other areas in biological sciences where you can make a good career, promising areas of study, and probably the very, very upcoming propositions, which is what we wish to discuss. That's the reason we are not talking today about MBBS and BDS. We are talking beyond that.
Okay, so what are these options actually? If you look at the opportunities, what really are these? So here's a small list of what a biology aspirant student can get into. You have biotechnology. Basically, that's the controlled and deliberate manipulation of biological systems for manufacture of useful products. You have bioinformatics, which combines biology, computer science, maths, and engineering to analyze and interpret biological data. You had molecular biology, which is basically a science of cellular and molecular level. Have you heard of genetic modified crops, GM crops, solving issues like producing cheap energy from algae, etc.? So, think of those, and that's related to molecular biology. You look at biomechanics. That's basically study of how skeletal and muscular systems react to various forces. A simple example here is in sports. So in the field of sports medicine, biomechanics plays a very important role, and it's an emerging area. You have microbiology, which is basically a study of microorganisms, includes topics like virology, the study of viruses, parasitology, study of parasites, and bacteriology, I believe, study of bacteria.
Yes.
So that's and then there's something called biomaterials, which some of you may not have heard. It's basically a study of how skeletal and muscular, the development of new biomaterial base for enhanced human health. Yeah.
This in fact is very, very interesting. I mean, the entire biosciences you will find is becoming a very, very interdisciplinary area of specialization. I mean, I'm just intervening here because Tarun was talking about biomaterials. Just want to quote an example here. BARC, the Bhabha Atomic Research Center, is already working on a research project where the bioscience specialists are working on a research project to come up with newer edible and biodegradable material which can be used for packaging of processed foods. And the way it is going to impact is you have these experts from biological sciences which are working to come up with an innovative product which is used in food packaging and technology industry, which in turn reduces the environmental impact.
Fantastic.
So that is how it becomes an interdisciplinary area of expertise.
I think, all these, if you look at our day-to-day, lives, you'll come across more of these things which are related to biological sciences, etc. It's just that we don't see it, we don't hear it. Yeah, it's those, and this trend is increasing, this scope is increasing. And as we speak, I think this is a fantastic area to get in. So we're saying all this. I wanted to show you where we are and where it's headed. Today we are at $10 billion in terms of the market size of alternative biology related.
This does not include your pharmaceuticals market.
Yeah,
this is over and above that.
So, and it's expected to reach $100 billion in the next 7 to 8 years. So that's a huge jump. And what basically that means is that as long as people are aware that there is, there are these things happening, there are these programs, one can actually tune and fit themselves in very well there.
I mean, it's like we are talking of a 33% CAGR, compounded annual growth rate of the industry over the next 8 years, from 2017 to 2025. And I would say this is the sunrise sector. I mean, in fact, this biotechnology, biosciences applications industry today is at the same stage where information technology was probably 25 years ago. It's going to see a hockey stick kind of a growth in the coming years. And there's a lot of impetus, a lot of investment, there's a lot of promotion schemes, a lot of infrastructure development, overseas tie-ups being done and pushed by the government at the major national level public policies in this area.
Right. So some of these we've just listed. Say, for instance, the second one, you have a biodesign program of the Department of Biotechnology, which is a government agency. There is a partnership of AIIMS, IIT Delhi, and a lot of reputed international institutes to do something in this area. So,
and more and more biology is changing over from just being a botany or a zoology kind of a study to an interdisciplinary concept which addresses various application areas. In fact, that reminds me, even in IITs and engineering colleges now, they have realized that the focus is fundamentally more on technology, and it does not gel with the problems which the society is facing, and hence develop solutions accordingly. So even in engineering colleges now, they are coming up with minor subjects in medical sciences or on the sociological topics, psychology related issues, development studies and all. So all the professional programs are actually becoming more and more interdisciplinary.
One thing, Neelesh, and I would like to, sort of also share with you is that in today's world, undergraduate program, whether it is, of any kind of sciences or, social sciences or arts, they are just the foundation of what one can do from there. And one necessarily would have to specialize, most probably using a post-graduation or a post-graduation program to get into something very interesting. Having said that, there are enough opportunities, but there is always the consideration that one may have to do the post-graduation as well.
But then nothing is easy in life, all said and done. If you wish to make a mark, if you want to get into the top league or do something worthwhile and have a promising career, definitely you need to put in some amount of efforts.
Yeah, and I think with competition, that's becoming a reality.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to some of the opportunities that we wanted to talk to you quickly about. Don't worry about noting down these, because we will be sharing the ebook with you, which will contain all this information and something more than this. So don't worry about noting these down, right? So we will be sending you material. I think you could just listen to.
We'll share some 5 or 6 of these here just to share with you. And mind you, these are all government institutes we are talking of. All national level institutions. None of them is a private university, a lot of whom keep advertising in big newspaper or full page advertisements. So let's talk about this NICER Bhubaneswar and University of Mumbai. Both of these are autonomous institutes under Department of Atomic Energy, Government of India. NICER is National Institute of Science Education and Research, and UMDA is University of Mumbai, Department of Atomic Energy, Center for Excellence in Basic Sciences. They offer an integrated MSc in Basic Sciences in a 5 years program. And as we written on the right hand side, they have the top shot faculties from IIT Mumbai, Bhabha Atomic Research Center, Homi Bhabha Center for Science Education, etc., etc., etc. And immediately on completion of this 5 years integrated MSc program, you have the option of joining Bhabha Atomic Research Center as a scientific officer. It's a fantastic thing to get enrolled into.
Yeah, and mind you, I mean, biology aspirants and research students are somebody who are required even in Bhabha Atomic Research
Centers.
Yeah. So it's not that they only need physicists.
And they have 170 seats in Bhubaneswar and 45 in Mumbai. They have their own entrance exam, and the applications will be out sometime in January and February. So I move on to the next one. In ICAR, Indian Council of Agricultural Research. They offer fantastic courses in agriculture, horticulture. That's a BSc program. Then you have Bachelor of Fishery Sciences, Forestry. And they also offer a BTech in Biotechnology. You will see agriculture, dairy technology, and food technology written in gray, because for those courses, you need to have done mathematics in +2. A lot of students of biology also study mathematics, but many a time they do not do that. Hence, we put that in gray. So the core courses here to focus on would be probably biotechnology. It's an institute of national importance, as probably all of you would know. And if you happen to take admission outside your home state, you also get a scholarship of $2,000. And ICAR conducts an entrance examination for national level seats spread across 55 universities in the country. Very, very premium proposition. So here is an indication of the number of seats they have. And again, they have an entrance examination where agriculture or biology is a topic which you should have studied at +2 level. Interestingly, since I'm talking about food technology, let me also share that there's an institute, again, an institute of national importance established a few years ago here in Haryana, in NCR's Sonipat town, called NIFTEM, National Institute of Food Technology and Entrepreneurship Management. But there, the admission is, even in food technology, is for non-biology students, and the admission is through joint entrance examination mains, which is conducted for engineering courses. So that we have not listed here.
These are biology students.
These are, I mean, the ones that we are discussing today essentially are all where PCB students are eligible, and they do not need to have done mathematics at +2 level.
Okay, fantastic.
So moving.
And I'd like to also share one thing that, the opportunities that you are seeing here are there in our portal. We're just collecting them, sort of segregating them for you here, just to bring your attention to some of these opportunities. They are, they can be tracked on our website. So when we say that, entrance exam is in February or March, so they would have the exact dates when they are announced on our portal. So that's a tracking facility that we provide to our subscribers.
So these are 7 IISERs, Indian Institutes of Science Education and Research. All of them are autonomous institute, and each one of them gets a grant of 5 billion rupees per year, which is humongous. It is more than what an IIT gets, including their British grants. So very, very premium institutes. Again, 5-year integrated BS, MS in basic sciences in all the 4 subjects: physics, chemistry, mathematics, or biology, depending on what you wish to get into. Admission is very, very difficult, definitely. And the admission channels are also very, very specific. Either you should have qualified for KVPY, which is Kishore Vaigyanik Protsahan Yojana, run by Department of Electronics, Science and Technology, Government of India. Incidentally, students who are currently in class 12, for them the KVPY application dates are already over, but 11 students can definitely apply. The other channels are joint entrance examination, which is the JEE mains, or state and central board, SCB. You need to be in the top 1 or 2% of the state and central boards to get admission to any of the IISERs. But very, very premium courses, and about 1,200 seats across the country. So that's what this takes you further. And interesting part is, if you are a KVP, all the students who will get into IISERs will get a scholarship of 5,000 rupees a month during their undergrad studies, plus 20,000 rupees annual research grant. So a scholarship of about 80,000 rupees a year during their BSc, and which increases further when you get into the PG level in the 2 years of MS.
So you don't have to pay them, they pay you.
They actually pay you.
Okay. All right. And then we know about the Indian Institute of Science, the #1 science institute in India, even ranked higher than IIT. And it's been ranked #1 by the Government of India, by the NIRF ranking, the National Institutional Ranking Framework. So, that's the place to be in if you want to do BS in biological sciences. Yeah. So it's a fantastic, I would say, place to do biological sciences. It's got a limited seats, but there's nothing free.
Yeah, and again, I said the channels are either KVPY or JEE Mains and Advanced, or for a core biology student who is currently in +2, if he has not applied for KVPY, then JEE anyway he cannot write. In case he doesn't have mathematics, then the only option left is to attempt NEET undergraduate entrance exam. But for 11th class student, of course, there's still time. Next year, he can again apply for KVPY and attempt admission through KVPY channel as well. And attempts are limited to 2 only.
Okay, so we have the University of Hyderabad. It's a central university, so it's not a state university. So this is a central government funded university. All the seats are open to everyone from across India. And it's got a fantastic program, 5-year integrated MSc in systems biology. It's a reputed program. In fact, many of the programs offered by UOH is counted among the top 100 in Asia. So that's a very good, I would say, indicator for a lot of people on the quality of the curriculum and the faculty at UOH.
Even recently, there has been a lot of hullabaloo about promotion of faculty members from assistant professors to professors, or even further based on the research publications. And Scopus is like the de facto reference point when you evaluate the research publications. And as per Scopus, University of Hyderabad is ranked number 1 in terms of research publications, and Scopus is the default a reference point for the government to evaluate this.
All right, so quickly move around. So seats are limited, but then
16, see, I mean, I'm of the opinion that okay, there are 16 seats, but my child needs only 1 seat, so I have 1 in 16 chances. That is how I look at it. After all, these 16 and 20 and 16 seats will also be taken by kids of similar nature only. So, and there's nothing called free lunch in life.
Yeah, I think that's the case of, you look at glass half empty or half full.
Half full, exactly.
Yeah,
so definitely worth making an effort. I mean, if for that matter, even MBBS admission is not easy.
Yeah, true. All right, so the next opportunity we'd like to quickly cover and bring to your notice is the Pune University, which now is called the Savitribai Phule Pune University.
Yeah, I mean, typically, if you talk to somebody about Savitribai Phule Pune University, generally the students, no disrespect meant for somebody, but generally the impression is, acha, ye kya hai? Savitribai Phule, what is this, and all that. Later realizing the fact that globally it is known as Oxford of the East.
Interesting. Yeah. So it's got a very
if you Google Oxford of the East, you will find Savitribai Phule Pune University mentioned there.
So it's a very prestigious old university, has got fantastic faculty, and it's got a great curriculum even in the biological sciences area and in the biotechnology space.
But the catch here is it's a state university. So majority of this is the one exception that we have talking about, the last one. This has state level reservations. Only about 15% are probably open all India seats. Yeah, so 30 seats total. Only 15% open all India category, which means only 4.5. That is 5 seats maximum. But then again, the same story. My child needs only 1. That's how I look at it. So some after all, those 5 seats also will be taken by people from outside Pune. Maybe my child is one of them. My daughter could be the lucky one.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And as I said, at My Exam Plan, we track all these dates for your.
And these are just 6 we wish to. I mean, there's a lot more we wanted to share, but owing to the limitation and the fact that you people have just might have just dropped in from offices and from your jobs. So just wanted to give you an idea of what all is there in store for you when you get into biological sciences. There's a big, nice world beyond MBBS and BDS as well.
Right. And as I said earlier during the program, we would be sharing the ebook with you after this, which will have some more besides whatever we have shared, so that it becomes easy for you to sort of get a hang of these opportunities. Right. So we had sent a mail 4 or 5 days back about if you had any questions. We received quite a few. We do not have time to take all of them. We will take a few of them in the next 5 minutes, and that'll be something that we can try and cover.
Otherwise, you can write back to us. We'll try to answer each one of them individually.
Right.
Kindly bear with us for that.
Yeah, I think we wanted to make it quick and crisp so that it's not too long and boring.
We didn't want to make it too tiring and boring for you.
Yeah. So one of the questions which we got from Kanpur was they wanted to know what are the opportunities in after doing biotechnology or taking alternative programs, and we didn't know where to start because it just kept coming in. So we thought, okay, we'll try and arrange the response in a little bit more uniform manner. So what we're trying to show you here is opportunities are varied. It goes right from research institutions. So, as research scholars, you can get into a lot of these niche institutes, which are there in the blue color represented there, or you could get into the private sector, into pharmaceutical companies. So you could see all these pharmaceutical companies in India requiring some or the other kind of expertise in, the biomedical sciences, biotechnology, etc.
In fact, none of them actually you will find are working in isolation. Research institutions will have research seats funded by pharma companies and also by food processing companies. Pharmaceutical companies will be buying technology from the incubation centers of some of these research institutes and taking a license and commercializing them and then using them. Similar will be the case with the food processing and technology industries. Universities anyway themselves do not work in isolation. They collaborate with these research institutes and overseas body, and also some financed research seats from pharma and food processing industries. So it's very, 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 very interconnected network working across all the sectors.
Absolutely. And there are a lot of options in the universities as well.
Yeah, and you see in the universities also, you have Tata Institute of Fundamental Research also. You have medical institutions. You have IITs. You have IISERs, which is into basic sciences. You have GNU. GNU typically people, probably it's been in news for wrong reasons very recently. So GNU is not just about dharnas and those things. And generally it is perceived to be a very, very high-end niche PG and research programs, which is correct also. But then it works in very, very niche technology areas as well. Yeah. So you will find GNU, Delhi University, medical institutes, fundamental research institutes, IISERs, engineering colleges, all working together in applied biological sciences.
Right.
So these are some of the typical employment. This list, there's a long laundry list. Obviously, we can't put all of them here, but these are the key employers, we would say.
So I think we got about 3 questions of these type. So we've just clubbed it into this. There was another interesting question about options in, what options are there in biology if you want to be able to work hands-on with people or materials. So as we said earlier on, some of the options in biology that you would like to work, which involve people and material handling, bioinformatics, application of IT solutions, right, to handle biological research problems, biomolecular sciences, bioengineering, and biomaterials. So all of these are, not very, these are not areas like zoology, biology, and botany and all that, right? So these are specific areas where students can actually get their hands dirty on really cutting edge technology in areas. The follow-up questions we had was, what are the UG requirements to work on research areas in US? Very good question. In US, typically you have, US typically have majors and minors, and has basically standard biology, ecology, and public health science as the major topics which you can do. And along with the majors, you have minors like molecular and cell biology, genetics, genomics, etc. So you do a combination of these and get into the specializations. And I think similarly, you could get into a lot of fantastic emerging trend areas which you have just listed there. Right, so we just move on to the next segment. I think somebody asked about Amity, I believe.
They asked about Amity. In fact, the question was generally about how do you select the right institute, and then specifically they talked about Amity University. They might have seen some advertisement by Amity University. Incidentally, it so happened that we had recently written a blog on our website, and this is a glimpse of screen capture of the blog that we had written, wherein no disrespect meant to Amity University. It's a fantastic, great university, but since there was a specific question, and we had written an article, so we are sharing it here. It had claimed that this is the #1 not-for-profit private university as per NIRF. The fact is, any private institute, whether it's a school or a university, necessarily has to be a non-for-profit entity to be registered as a trust. So any private university will necessarily be not-for-profit. So there's no special thing about Amity. #2, it says #1 private university. That is not correct, because NIRF does not give any different rankings for private universities and government universities. It only rates all universities taken together in one category called university rankings. And if you look at the NIRF rankings, Amity University appears at number 52 or 53. Mm-hmm. So that's what the reality is. But when you see a full-page advertisement, what strikes you and what you retain is what is written in big, bold, 75% of the page, and what's what you remember is it is #1 private university, which is not the fact.
Yeah, I mean, one could interpret it in various ways.
It's like dressing up your account books. So our whole idea is believe but verify. Exercise due caution.
Right. So we also, okay, we'd like to just take a quick, we're running really out of time. I'm seeing some raised hands, but we'd quickly request them to write back to us for specific queries. I'd like to quickly take this opportunity to talk about what is My Exam Plan. Many of you have registered into it. For those of you who haven't, it's a fantastic place where in all these streams that you see here, you can track hundreds of entrance exams and opportunities through this portal. We provide timely email alerts, SMS alerts, blogs, and the latest updates here. And it is probably one of the, I would say, best curated platforms out there. And I'd like to take this opportunity to quickly make a quick appeal and an offer to you. We are having a fantastic opportunity right now. If you see this screenshot, we even provide interesting aspects like clashing exams. All of these, of course, are for the paid subscribers.
Yeah.
The free subscribers get to know the general information, but a lot of the other tabs are not, visible to them. So we are here through this webinar also offering all of you who've joined in an option to upgrade. The option is that we are giving a 15% off on all the upgrades until tomorrow midnight. And we've given the coupon code here, so you can note it down. It's just a one-time offer. If you think that you really want to track a lot of these opportunities that we spoke about, plus the hundreds of others, then My Exam Plan could be a fantastic option for you, right? I do see a lot of raised hands. I'm really very sorry. We are running short of time. Please do write to us at info@MyExamPlan.com, and we will try and respond to you to your individual queries. We will send you the ebook shortly, and we hope to see more of your feedback and reactions to this webinar. Yeah, with that, I'll just wish you a very good evening, and thank you all for joining in here.
Thank you very much.